Yes, we were talking about the Voluntary Workers Education Scheme, which was launched in 1958. The motto was to educate workers in trade union philosophies and methods, and also promote physical awareness of problems, privileges, and obligations as workers and citizens. So, when we talk about social security is not only provided in monetary form, that is, we've seen various acts like employee state insurance scheme, employee provident fund, maternity benefit act. Maternity benefit act, it gives the paid maternity leave, and also when they come back after maternity leave, they'll have the work. So security of employment also is provided. Along with this, we have payment of gratuity act. Okay, so all these they talk about providing security in the form of financial security and also job security. But apprentice act, it talks about providing training, on the job training under various industries, which will help them to gain employment. Also, Employment Exchange Notification Act, that also is about trying to get various jobs. So, that is about gaining employment. Again, this voluntary workers education scheme is to educate people. So, security not only in the form of money, but also in other forms is given to people. So, this is your Article 41 about social security. Then you come to Article 42, working conditions. Article 42 requires the state to make provision for securing just and humane conditions of work and for maternity relief. Okay, so wherever you're working, whether it is a factory or whether it is an office, it should be in such a manner that it is fair to the workers, and it should be where human beings can stay for a prolonged period of time and actually work. Article 42 provides the base of large body of labor law that obtains in India. Referring to Articles 42 and 43, Supreme Court has emphasized that the Constitution expresses a deep concern for the welfare of the workers, and also by reading Article 21 with several directive principles, including your Article 42, Supreme Court has given broad connotation to Article 21 so as to include the right to live with human dignity. Okay, so this is the Article 42 to provide just and humane working conditions. Article 43 talks about living wage. So yesterday we had a quick intro to what is living wage and how it is different from minimum wage. So we'll be seeing this again in your Article 43. Article 43 requires the state to endeavor to secure by suitable legislation or economic organization or in any other way to all workers, whether they're agricultural, industrial, or otherwise, a living wage, conditions of work ensuring a decent standard of life, and full employment of leisure and social cultural opportunities. So, in particular, the state is to promote cottage industries on an individual or cooperative basis in rural areas. So, Article 43 imposes an obligation towards provision of living wage in all sectors as well as acceptable conditions of work. The provision enunciates the revolutionary doctrine that employees are entitled as to right of certain leaves. So, what is a living wage? A living wage is a wage which enables the male earner to provide for himself and his family not only the bare essentials. Bare essentials are your food, clothing, shelter. Apart from that, they have many other basic needs like education for children, protection against ill health, requirements for essential social needs, and also some amount of money which they have to keep saved for any other important misfortunes will happen, including old age. So they need to have some money to save also. இது எல்லாத்தையும் அவங்களால பண்ண முடியற அளவுக்கு ஒரு வேஜ் கொடுத்தீங்கன்னா then that wage is called as a living wage. So living wage is different from a minimum wage. Minimum wage is thus sufficient enough to cover only the bare essentials, that is your food, clothing, shelter. Okay, a minimum wage is an industry specific thing. It is fixed by the industry. Okay, so fixation of minimum wage is in the interest of the public, but it does not impose an unreasonable restriction on the right to carry on any trade as guaranteed by Article 19. So this is the difference between living wage and minimum wage. Hope it is clear, right? Yes. Workers' participation in management. Article 43A, which was introduced by 42nd Amendment in 1976, has a direct bearing on labor laws. Okay, so what it talks about is that it has to bring out some means by which workers can participate in the management of industrial establishments. So this is your Article 43A, enabling workers to participate in the management of industries. Next is a case law. Janapareddy Suryanarayana and others versus Municipal Administration and Urban Development and others. So it was a writ petition. So what happens here is part-time workers or NMRs NMRs are type of part-time workers. Okay, when part-time workers or NMRs are regularized, they are entitled to get minimum time scale of pay prescribed for the post that they are discharging. Okay, but regular workers, you know that they work for a full working day. Full working day is around 8 hours, right? Part-time workers, na, then they'll work for some time of the 8 hours. 8 hours full work பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. அதுல ஒரு part work பண்ணுவாங்க. So whatever hours they work, அதுக்கான minimum pay அவங்களுக்கு கிடைக்கணும். But in this particular case, part-time workers are also putting in work for 8 hours. So when they are doing and putting in work for 8 hours like regular workers, what is the meaning? They should have been paid like regular workers are being paid. That was the judgment given by the court in this case also. The court finds that it is a fit case to issue a direction to the respondents to extend minimum time of scale pay to petitioners who are discharging their duties for 8 hours in a day on par with regular employees of the same cadre. So regular employees க்கு 8 hours க்கு என்ன pay பண்றீங்களோ same amount of money should be paid minimum to the part-time workers who are putting in 8 hours of work. Clear? Okay, so with this, we are at the end of your chapter 14, Constitution and Labor Laws. Any doubts in this chapter?
Not yet. Revise concept.
You want to revise it
Yes, ma'am.
in class?
No, ma'am. We will revise and let you know if it
Yes.
is.
So you do that. So I'll give you a basic summary. What is there in the chapter? We talk about what is Constitution, why Constitution is important for making laws in our country. So when you talk about Constitution, we talk about three important things in the Constitution, which is your preamble, fundamental rights, and directive state policies. Okay, so directive principles of state policy பார்க்கிறோம். அதுல we see first we talk about fundamental rights, which is given in part 3. We see about 6 articles which are in relation to labor laws, labor rights. And then we see directive principles, again, principles which are very much in connection with industrial laws and labor laws. And there is a difference between fundamental rights and directive principles. Fundamental rights, they are rights given to all individuals, irrespective of what they do, who they are. And it is compulsorily enforced by courts also. But directive principles are like guidelines, are like goals given to state. It is their duty to achieve them, but in trying to achieve them, if they fail, court will not penalize them. Understood? So this is what we have seen in this entire chapter. All right. So what we are going to do is we'll stop here for now.